We are live.
Hello and welcome to Unsupervised and Undercaffeinated, where the undercaffeinated is completely me, 100%, and the unsupervised is the rest of these chuckle fucks.
Who's supposed to be supervising?
Um, normally you.
Damn it!
Normally you're supervising. Um, oh crap, I am playing through my other phone. I heard my
Also,
voice and I was confused.
I feel no shame in eating on stream because of how many times they've done it on Critical Role.
Yeah, no, none whatsoever. Um, who would like to start us off with a recap?
This is
I
amazing.
have one. I just need to actually pull up the document.
I just haven't grabbed it yet. No, you're good.
I'm eating, I can't do recap.
Nice.
Aww.
Alright, I have recap in the form of a journal entry that technically Arletto has not written yet, but he's going to at some point, so.
Alrighty.
It's been a long while since I wrote a journal entry or anything of the sort. I'll need to get a proper book, but for the moment this will work. I just need to think out loud, and I can't really do that here. Too many ears that might hear, both my friends and the woods we stand in. So I write here so that I may reflect and remember when the time comes. Wolpez came back to us. He was absent, I believe, anyways, to calm down and regain control of the beast after he gave in to that primal rage to strike against the Raven Queen back in the void. I need to make sure he's okay with that conversation. The reason I understand, somewhat, maybe. What he did really needs the full explanation about our shared history and about our shared devil. And I don't know if I have enough information to talk to him about it yet, but it can't wait much longer. Secrets like that will get someone hurt, or worse. Lopez took first watch with the new guy, Ember. I kind of expected that. I'm curious what he thought about him. I'll need to ask at some point. I don't know what to think of Ember and Smoke. Smoke. He's the strangest thing to me about him. He treats his echo like another person, not an extension of himself. I'm unfamiliar with that kind of attachment, I suppose, to an echo. I certainly never felt that way about my own echoes, but perhaps we learned from different schools. But even aside from Smoke, Ember is, well, he's a puzzle. Does not know how he ended up here or why. He came from the prime material, but it's strange. It seems convenient that he would appear nearby when we were in a totally foreign place fighting for our lives, but coincidences happen. Perhaps that is all. But on the other hand, I cannot imagine that the Raven Queen accidentally left us a way out. She wants us free and alive, for some reason, and perhaps she was involved with the timing. I cannot say. He seemed genuinely horrified at our involvement with her, but any sane person would be, which I suppose is points in his favor, as I'm not exactly sure any of us are sane. I told Tempe that I thought he was real, at the very least, but that's the only thing I'm sure of. A world twists strangely around him, as if rejecting his very existence. I do not think the Queen of Feathers would allow that kind of deviancy on a specter she made to accompany us, but what he is, or why he's here, I don't know, and that scares me. Especially as I truthfully had no idea Bloodworth was connected to the Raven Queen until Alton was it? Intervened. I can only guess. I want to believe that he is real and good and an ally we will be able to lean on, yet I worry. I will not be certain, not until I know why he appeared here, at the least. Mayhaps he simply fell through a crack in the plains. But I've rambled long enough. I'm probably overthinking it after my failure to realize what Bloodworth was, and the fact that the whole thing was a dream, as far as I can tell. Even Rowena, I must believe. Dynasty watched alone for the second watch, and when he woke me, he warned that the forest listened to words and almost recorded them, like I am now here in this book. I watched with Tempe last, and we spoke for a time. She insists she's fine, she gives me no reason to disbelieve her, and yet I have not experienced that which she suffers from now, no, but I have experienced many losses over my life, and not once could I pretend I was fine like the way she says she is. I don't know what to make of it. Perhaps she just doesn't trust me, but then she showed me cracks on her skin, strange, almost like a cracked porcelain plate. She wants my help, sometime, somewhere, to figure out what they are, what they mean. I think that must mean she trusts me, for some reason, but I know not what to make of her refusal to discuss her emotions. I will not press, not at this time. It's not my place, nor is it something I'm comfortable doing, but I fear she internalizes grief and anger to an even more extreme degree than I ever did. That can't be healthy, for her or those around her. She asked about myself, and I tried to explain that, due to this dagger, this blade, and the rage I have gained from it, I'm actually doing somewhat okay. I run off of rage like a battery. It fuels me, it hones me, it makes me dangerous. And that's not healthy for me either, but I don't know what else to do with it. She made me think about the dagger, though. I lost it back after the portal we stepped through. Gave it to the forest, or so I thought. That broke me. Losing the anger associated with Ella's death, that void it left destroyed me. I was beginning to recover when it was returned to me, and the rush of power, the rush of rage, kept me going since the fight. About the only thing that has. But I focused on the dagger more after we stopped talking, and I unlocked it somehow. It hurt, but I feel more wholesome than I did before. Like a little piece of me is complete now, or at least repaired and mended, even if just a little, when before it was shattered into 1,000 tiny pieces. The memories of Ella still rest high in my mind. They hurt, but they bring some small comfort now, where before they only brought writhing agony and guilt at my failure. Our watch was fairly uneventful, and so we packed up camp and made our way onward. The road seemed easier this time, calmer. There was a time when it seemed Nasty and Volpez fell behind for a few moments, but it's likely just a strange shift in the trees. Eventually we came to a clearing where in the center sat perhaps the strangest thing I've seen in the woods since the duel, maybe even stranger than that. I saw an ear, a human ear, seemingly grown out of root and wood from the very earth itself. This confirmed to me, in a way, that the forest is alive, sentient in a way, aware, and it seemed to have a desire to learn, to understand us. I don't know why or to what end, but that simple fact is strangely comforting to me. This forest we are in wants to learn about us as much or even more as I want to learn about it. If perhaps we found a reliable way to travel here and back from the prime material, I might spend some long time here, studying this plane, sharing my secrets with it, to learn in turn what the trees whisper. Whatever the reason for this ear, we could not determine. We spent some while here, studying it. It reacted differently to different tones of words. Nasty tried to jump into it, like the lovable idiot that he is, before I could tell him that it was simply a facsimile, that there was nothing there on the other side. We spent quite some time here, but could not make head nor tail of it, and so we continued, in time, leaving the ear behind us, trying to find a way out, trying to find a way to something we know, anywhere. We came some time later to another clearing. Here we found something strange, moss covering the ground, almost as a map. A map of all the creatures who traversed this place. Small and large individuals and groups, twisting bands of moss, slightly different each one. We came to the conclusion that this was recording all of the movement in the woods, and that there were many things who moved along the same trails, unseen and unheard. Ember said we should move quicker, more intentionally, and everyone agreed. And then Tenacity spoke briefly to Tempe in a hushed tone, and that is where we left off.
Alrighty. We are not going to pick up there exactly. Where we are going to pick up. However, once I refine the document, because I have like 50 bazillion tabs open right now.
Reasonable.
Where
Been
we
there,
are.
done that.
Oh yeah, the fun of being a DM. You have 37,000 tabs open and you don't know which one's which.
Or where the music is coming from.
Yeah, no, that's just ADHD brain.
Sometimes it is the
But
tabs.
yeah, sometimes it is reality. Where we are, the air hangs heavy, thick with the stench of iron and ash. The sky is a rolling canvas of violet and black, streaked with silver lightning that shivers across the horizon without striking. You step forward onto the jagged obsidian plateau overlooking the fractured heart of Shadowfell. Look, we step forward. The world itself groans under a dark dominion, trees twisted into impossible angles, rivers of shadow curling like serpents, and whispers of lost souls echoing between the stones. From the darkness, a figure begins to coalesce, shadow and mist knitting together into a very vaguely humanoid shape. A presence presses, suffocating and cold, making the air itself tremble. Eyes burn somewhere in the shadows, watching, calculating. There is a strange familiarity, a recognition buried underneath the layers of shadow, the weight of shared blood.
This. This is not the Shadowfell was meant to be.
His clawed hands curl into fists at his side. The figure shifts slightly, an almost imperceptible movement. But still, no name, no form. Just pressure, darkness, and weight.
Your conquest. It tears at the balance of the planes. Cord rages in the storms you stir. Tharizdun recoils at the chaos you've unleashed. Loth whispers in disdain, her webs unraveling in your wake.
The figure straightens, wings stretch outward slowly like shadows pouring into the world, yet not fully revealed. Her presence is impossible to ignore, a cold that bites into the bones, a sense of inevitability that presses down on the plateau. And yet, Zahir feels it, the echo of kinship beneath the terror.
Serlith.
The name falls like a blade across the plateau, sharp and final. The shadows respond, curling and deepening, as if acknowledging their mistress.
Oh, Serlith. We are siblings. This This is not what family was meant to be.
The wings unfold fully now, feathers dripping with darkness, casting the plateau in moving shadow. Her voice, when it comes, is like the grinding of tombstones across stone.
Balance. You mistake survival for balance. Shadowfell bends, reshapes, thrives under my gaze. And if others suffer, it is only because they cannot endure what is necessary.
Zahir steps closer, eyes flashing, the air around him sizzling with tension.
necessary. Your expansion spreads violence like a plague. Innocents burn. Powers are warped and broken. You call it you call it necessity, but it is terror. The world screams beneath your grasp, and I will not stand idle while you devour what we siblings, were meant to protect.
Sarah tilts her head, shadows curling as if amused, or perhaps impatient.
Guarding. You speak of guarding, Zahir. You who tremble at the name of your own chaos. Family or not, the Shadowfell does not need your approval. It answers only to me now.
A storm of wind and shadow rises between them. For a moment, it seems the very world is listening, waiting for the first strike, or the first word to fracture what remains. Zahir's voice drops, almost mournful now.
I do not care if it answers to you. I care that it survives, that the balance does not break, that life, all life, is not extinguished under your wing. Hear me, Serelith. Hear me, sister. I will not allow this to continue unchecked.
Silence stretches. The only sound is the slow, deliberate beat of her wings, like midnight heartbeats echoing across the void. And in that silence, a realization, a reckoning is coming. Whether the Shadowfell or Serelith survives it is another question entirely. We fade from Shadowfell and rejoin the party in the Twilight Midnight and Twilight Material playing Twilight Midnight because that makes sense. What are you guys doing? What do you want
So,
to do? I should.
sister, are you sure that Ganassi isn't just soup?
We've been over this. They are
That's a
people.
fucking sentence.
I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could kill one and cut them up and put it in a soup. But they're not really supposed to go in a soup, and that's kind of bad. You shouldn't do that.
Lopez just looks down at the soup he is currently eating, as if questioning what might be in it now.
I mean, I guess you could chop them up, but no, no, I don't think I want to do that. You know what? The next soup that I make, I'm going to name it Ganassi.
Okay, brother. Okay.
I mean, if I do, at least then you guys won't be able to refute me that it isn't a soup, because at that point it will be both a soup and I guess a person.
But wouldn't you be afraid that they would think of the soup instead of the people, and then the people would be forgotten? And that would be kind of bad, I think. Kind of disrespectful.
I mean, I'd feel bad for like a second, but you know, it's not my problem at that point.
It's okay. It's all right.
Can I just say, Bubba, you looked so proud of yourself after the first bit.
You thoroughly killed two of us. That was a great first sentence. Uh,
Especially coming off of that cold open.
you guys see Ember just look over at Smoke, look back at Tenacity, and just drop his bowl, get up, and go over to his bedroll and just sit.
See, now people don't want to eat their dinner. Now they're afraid that you put somebody in it.
Volpe is still eating the soup.
I mean, respect Volpez for, still eating soup, but now I'm troubled at what kind of things like you would be so jaded to continue eating soup. But whoops.
Volpe kind of looks over at Tenacity. I was once told it's only cannibalism if they're the same race as you.
I'm going to take my journal over here now. I'm just gonna stand up and go sit on the other side of Arletto. Like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
I'm just gonna take my earbud out, walk away, let y'all RP this out. I'll be back in a little while. Oh my god.
Aletta,
I win! I got
are
the
your
DM
thoughts?
to quit!
That was a joint win between you and Bubba. Oh my god.
Aletta, what are your thoughts?
I mean, technically,
You don't have to answer him.
No, but it's fun to answer him. I mean, technically, by the textbook definition, Lopez isn't wrong. Not sure that would hold up in any courts, though. Also, have you seriously never heard of a genasi before?
He knows who they are. We saw them on the shore.
He just never actually heard
I
the
mean,
word.
I just didn't know that's what they were called.
I suppose that's fair. I suppose genasi are probably distinctive enough that most people wouldn't think to explain what they are. I don't think you could very well mistake a genasi for anything else.
I mean, I guess now that I know what they are, I won't. No, I will definitely forget by tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie to myself like that.
I suppose that's fair.
So you guys are sitting there having a quick bite right now, short rest. Um, and you can definitely tell that a decent amount of time has passed, and it's getting to be what would be near as what you can tell from when you woke up about what would be nighttime on any other plane. Do you guys continue or bed down?
Bed down. This seems like a good enough spot.
Yeah. Don't need to
No.
push forward, only to have to try and backtrack to find a good spot again.
Yeah.
How do we want to split up watches for tonight?
If Arletta glances over to where Ember is he just sitting talking with Smoke in hushed words?
Half hushed. From your perspective, he's just talking to himself. Yeah, Smoke is there and he's looking over at Smoke, but from your perspective, he's talking to himself.
Well, I think Ember could probably do with some time alone to process what's going on, so.
You see him kind of throw his hands up, and you're, I don't know, Smoke. I don't know.
Upez.
Mopez just will look over, like, that's weird even for me.
Upez, there's some things I would discuss with you if you'd like to take a watch with me tonight.
Very well. I can do that.
Oh
Then I
God,
guess
the siblings have a
it's
watch together.
then I guess it's on me.
I can definitely take it alone.
No.
Like sleep.
I mean, I guess that's up to you, but I was kind of hoping to actually spend time with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's taking first, and how are we?
Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know. Who's on third?
Are we doing 2 or 3 watches? From what I gathered, it's 2.
Okay.
All right. Who's taking first?
I guess we'll take first. And then I can sleep for a long time with no break.
That is valid.
That does sound like a good idea.
All right. Give me a second. Got to find my chart because I forgot to get it up. Shush, I heard how that sounded. I don't know if it came through
It did.
because I was talking really quiet. Okay.
You're lucky I have to keep my microphone muted with both of us in this room. That's all I'll say.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was going to make a comment about you have 40,000 tabs open and that's not one of them.
No, it's not.
His ducks aren't in a row, and he's pretty sure one of them is a pigeon.
No, one of them straight up is fuck. What's Bastion's pigeon's name? Hedwig.
Hedwig!
One of them is Hedwig.
One of them is Hedwig. For those of you not in the know, Hedwig is a dire pigeon. Trust me, Google it. The sheet is hilarious.
It is absolutely hilarious. Think Hey Hey from Moana, but in undead pigeon.
Yes. With like a -2 intelligence and yet somehow alive.
I was gonna say the difference being Hey Hey smarter.
Yeah.
Not a -2
World
intelligence.
smarter.
According to this one, it's a -4 intelligence.
Yep.
Yep, that one.
That one. If it's got the picture of a stupid looking pigeon with like an arrow sticking out of it, that's the one. Whoever
So if y'all
made that,
somehow
I love you.
yes. So if y'all would want to RP this out while I search my multiple Google Drives for this encounter chart because I didn't put it where I should have.
If we're lucky, he doesn't find it by the end of the watch.
So, I'd just like to interject. For the dire pigeon stat block, I found 2 different versions, both of which have incorrect HP calculations. One of them has a +3 to con and -4 HP, -4 max HP, and the other has -1 to con and +4 max HP.
It doesn't make sense because the thing shouldn't exist.
Valid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We love Hedwig, though.
So what are these siblings doing during their watch?
I have found a nice quiet spot with my journal, and I'm just looking around, and then drawing and writing, and then looking around.
All right, I will need a D12 from one of y'all.
5.
5. Okay. So as you're drawing and tenacity, what are you doing?
That's a good question. I think tenacity, after feeling a little stung, is sitting down close to Temperance, but not enough to be in her space, and is just looking out over the camp.
All right. So you both feel some light tremors under the earth, just moving around. Um, Give me a acrobatics or athletics check. As the whatever this is moves underneath you, and you feel the ground kind of underneath you.
Mine's gonna be acrobatics, and it's an 18.
So you kind of feel that tremor getting close to you, and as you're drawing, you just kind of almost surf it and keep going. What was yours?
So it was going to be a 5. Dry witnessed it. It got to the edge of the mat and rolled a second time. So with the actual roll, it is a dirty 20.
Lucky.
Thanks.
'Cause you and these checks in this plane have not been good.
Uh-uh. No.
You and Arletto both have not had very good luck with these.
Mm-mm.
So same thing. You're sitting there, and you feel how in the hell? Sorry. You feel it coming, and you kind of just ride the wave as it goes underneath you. Not sure what it is.
Are you okay, sister? That was a little snippier than usual.
Wasn't snippy.
You know, when we used to play upstairs and you would um you would mess around and like bug me, and I would just say something really sharp towards you.
Yes.
That is snippy.
But I didn't do that. I said, okay. Like Mama used to when she didn't want anyone talking to her.
Right. I know you have to feel it.
Feel what?
This, whatever this is.
You mean the air?
No, I mean our our relationship is slowly starting to not become a friendship anymore. I know you have to feel this.
We're still my friend. I just don't tell you everything.
And I don't expect you to, but there are things that you don't tell because it's your own business and I really shouldn't know. But then there's things that affect people's re- people's relationships between them. And I feel like there is something that you haven't told me that is affecting us.
If there's something you'd like to talk about, just bring it up. You don't have to beat around the bush.
Do you remember anything that happened that day?
Which day?
The day that Mama and Papa died.
I don't want to talk about it.
And normally I would be okay with this, but it is affecting our relationship.
What is there to know? They died, I was alone, then I wasn't alone.
And you're just okay with this fact.
I mean, what are you supposed to do when you grieve? I was very sad, I cried a lot, and then I didn't cry anymore. And then Evangeline was there every day, and I didn't cry for months.
Yes, and every day since, whenever we have gotten into a tough situation or there has been confrontation, because I know that there has been towards you, even on the ship, you go inward and act like nothing is wrong.
That's what you're supposed to do. You make the feeling go away. That's what Evangeline did.
Listen, I'm not telling you how you need to grieve. This is not what this conversation is. However, stuffing all of your feelings down is also not healthy. You have to talk about it eventually. And I don't mean this as I am telling you as your brother, you have to talk about this. I'm not being authoritative here.
And that's not authoritative to me.
And I'm sorry if that's how I'm coming across, because I don't mean to be. But there's going to come a point where you continue to not talk about this and you just break because there's no more boxes to fill those emotions in.
I don't put them in a box. I just don't feel them. I file them away, and I tell myself what Evangeline used to say, and I make them. Because what else are you supposed to do? That's how it works.
So then what do you do with happiness, feeling happy, feeling joy, feeling love? Do you put those away too?
No. She only put the sad ones away.
You should. Let me change my verbiage because I don't want to sound authoritative to you. You should feel all of your feelings, not just the good ones, because it's the bad ones that also teach you lessons. They help you grow into a better person.
Yeah, not to do the things that made those things happen.
Sure, but if you're not feeling those feelings, then how can you, you know,
It's still muted.
oh, I am. I mean, sure, but if you don't feel those negative feelings, how are you going to achieve that goal?
But then what do you do when you feel negative feelings?
I let them happen, but I don't linger. I don't allow myself to. There comes a certain point when you're feeling these negative feelings where it just feels like a pattern to continue to feel these feelings. And when you start to feel that, that's when you need to let those feelings go. that time period is different depending on the depth of those emotions.
There is going to be, because you are her brother, I will not make you roll for this. There is a very subtle change of facial expression that happens with Temperance, where she goes from listening to upset and then right back to listening. She's going to slam her journal closed. I don't want to feel those feelings. I would have died in that house if I felt those feelings. Evangeline came, she said the little prayer, she put her finger on my head, and I didn't have to feel it for months. I don't want to bring it back up now. And she's gonna walk and sit by where Volpez is sleeping.
He is going to get up and sit right next to you. In fact, he will at first sit right next to you, and then he will kind of like Three Stooges, like scurry in front of you and try to lock eyes with you and say, I saw just now a glimmer of you feeling those feelings. I know you don't want to feel them. It sucks feeling negative feelings. Trust me, I know. But in order for us to understand this world, we have to, no, I keep using that verbiage again. In order for us to understand this world, those feelings should come and go. They should be felt. And while I understand that that was there for, I understand why Evangeline did it. But I disagree from what you make it sound like. I disagree with the intensity and the extent of what she did to you because she robbed you from being able to process what was happening.
She just keeps drawing in her journal.
He won't forcefully do this to you, but he will put his finger under your chin, and if you allow him to, he will try to bring your face to where you are looking at him.
She'd let you.
Whether good or bad, you allow yourself to feel emotions, not just to process things. That's a big part of it. But it also allows you to connect with people, allows you to help people who are going through the same thing. You talk about wanting to help people and wanting to save people. That's a part of it.
But isn't it better to move on quickly and to live your life instead of spending wasted hours over something you can't change? Nothing changes that they're dead.
No, you're right. It doesn't change the fact that they're gone. But some things need to be let to brew before you can move on.
She's gonna point at your armor. Have you processed that you died for that? Because I did. Dream or not, I remember it.
I have processed it, and I'm still processing it. It made me feel disgusting. It made me feel like I was the tiniest bug in a world vaster and more powerful than I could ever imagine. But I felt those feelings. I allowed myself to feel those feelings instead of filing them away. How did you feel when you found out that I had died?
Sad and angry.
And what do you feel now talking about it?
You are here, aren't you? Why be sad about it?
It is okay to feel sad. In this case, it is okay to feel sad even if something that was true is no longer true. I was dead, but now I'm not. But it is still okay to feel sad. It does not offend me. It does not change how I feel about you as a sister.
Don't want to talk about it all. Not yet. Did you know they didn't even know that I was in the house? Evangeline didn't know that they had me in the house. If I have to unpack that day, I have to unpack it all.
And that is many, many years of negative feelings. You don't have to unpack all of it at once. All I am asking is that you allow yourself to start. You can
I'll-
move.
I'll think about it.
He'll say one last thing and then he'll get up, but he'll say, I hope you do. And I hope that you don't file it away. Because while this conversation hurt and it sucked, I feel like we are that much closer.
I didn't think we had any space between us. Maybe think about that.
Tenacity, as you get up and start walking away, you feel almost this phantom, not pain, but not exactly itch, somewhere in between, in the palm, in the center of the palm of your right hand.
Mhm. Um, I'll look down and see what it is.
Blood sacrifice is being drawn by the Everest. Oh,
Is the mark of cat claws in your palm. As though a cat
yes.
has put her claws into the
Beautiful
flesh
blood.
of your palm.
Blood sacrifice.
ow, that was my shoulder, cat. I love you, but ow, you were just all nice and peaceful and letting me love on you and almost asleep in my arm. You look down and you don't see anything.
One moment, please, while I roll something.
I know what it is. It's that annoying itch that can only be scratched when you bite yourself.
Yes.
Basically. Hate it when that happens. It's especially annoying when it happens in your foot and it's just like,
Yeah.
because then you just have to like dig your nails into your foot.
Uh huh. Or find something particularly rough and just rub your foot back and forth.
Yep. And it's just like, I hate this.
Oh,
So, what is the result of
um, sister,
Yes.
I just felt something, but nothing. I felt something in my hand, but there's nothing there.
What did it feel like?
It felt like I was noticed by something or someone.
Maybe it was finally your goddess answering you. Ambrose used to hold my hand sometimes. Usually I was pretty scared, but could have been your god.
You know, not that I don't want to have a connection with her. She's not my main focus right now.
Maybe she just wants you to remember she's there.
I hope you remember that I'm here when you're ready.
I do.
And I'm sorry that I I'm sorry that I keep pressing you.
That is okay.
You know that I do it because I love you and I am concerned for you.
Sure. I know you care. You would not have come back if you didn't.
You're gonna see on his face, he wants to say something, but I'll give you this to you for free. He wants to say something, but he feels like he's, and at least in his facial expression, he feels like he's said enough and is just gonna drop it for now.
Temperance is gonna wake Volpez up at the end of their watch.
That was going to be
Just
my
like
next question.
just like lightly, like shaking his shoulder a little bit. Volpez,
How'd you
it's
get up in
your
the tree?
watch. Oh shit. Hold on.
That's okay. I have something funny I can do here to ease the mood, if I might. He heard bits and pieces of the conversation while he was trying to sleep because y'all had moved over there. He normally conjures a pine cone to throw at Arletto. This time, he conjures a coconut and throws it at Tenacity.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Coconuts,
Dee, there they are, all
they are
in
hanging in
row.
a row. Bum, bum, bum. I know one small one, some as big as your
I'm
head.
missing. Oh, I never have to do this from Mufasa.
And I think the last thing for Temperance After they're awake and starting their watch, she's probably tossed and turned a little bit, having trouble falling asleep, and she's gonna open her journal and she's gonna rip a page out of her journal and she's gonna place it on Tenacity's chest, whether he's awake or not, and go back to her bedroll to go to sleep. And it is a drawing that I will DM you what it looks like.
DM, I can roll something if you'd like, but Tenacity will not go to sleep tonight. And if when Temperance comes in and Tenacity hears this, he's going to pretend to fall asleep.
Okay. It'll be a con save come morning. How do you wake up Arletto?
I think
Or do you let Volpes take care of that?
no, I'll take care of it this time. I think after being pelted by a coconut, he would go over to Arletto and say, Arletto, wake up. It's your turn.
Thank you.
A quick warning. The ground started to shake a little bit. Nothing really happened. It did feel like at one point that the shaking got closer to us, but other than that,
Like something definitely went underneath you guys in sequence.
mhm. The shaking got closer to us, but I don't know what it was. Arletto, you would also see that Tenacity has a 1,000-yard stare and a deep pain and sadness is reflecting in his eyes.
I will take that. Keep that in mind. Thank you. And then he stands up and he leans forward and he puts his hand on Tenacity's shoulder and he says, "Whatever is troubling you, if you need, you can talk to me about it. Try and get some sleep."
I will. Thank you.
And this is a moment where Volpez is going to be a bit of an asshole.
Um,
As Tenacity is heading towards his tent to go to sleep, Volpez is just going to kind of. He's not glaring, it's just kind of this dead stare. Next time, perhaps don't have important conversations, or someone is trying to sleep. I don't think I was supposed to hear any of that.
I was kind of hoping that you did.
I wish I
Because
didn't.
it's
That's
maybe
between you.
true.
That's between you and Temperance. Siblings, I know nothing about. And whatever is troubling the two of you, it did not sound like something that belonged in others' ears.
Our relationship through is affected, but it goes deeper. And I'm concerned for temperance. I wanted you to know. Well, I was hoping that you heard at least some bits and pieces because she seems to respond to you better.
I can tell you from first hand from meeting her before I met you. That girl has a will of her own. Will not be stopped. Is more stubborn than a goat. Could probably even out-stubborn a mule. At the same time, she may look the delicate flower, but she is anything but. I am fairly certain she could kick all our asses and then some. When one grieves, it is their own. Some move on fast, some move on slow, some never move on. And I have no room to be speaking on grief and grieving. And that process, none. Not with who and what I am.
I don't even think she knows what grieving felt like. There's this is unfortunate. This part of our history is unfortunately not mine to share. But in hopes to trying to do better for her, I robbed her of feeling. And so now I don't know if she knows what. No, I know she knows.
I feel as
And
though it is more, it is less her not feeling anything at all, and more her feeling everything at once. And all those feelings clashing into one another, and not knowing how to sort through them, because there's too many. She has more emotion and empathy than all of us put together. Certainly more than me. I think you're looking at things from the wrong sort of perspective. And you need to listen to what she's saying in a different manner. Because there is one thing that I think you've forgotten that's important in all of this. She's a woman. And women feel things in a very different way than men. And process and handle things in a very different way than men. And if you try to push too hard, that's when you get an iron skillet to the back of your head. I'm not saying this from experience, I'm saying this from witnessing it. She's also your sister. And from what I can glean of siblings, sisters aren't likely to tell elder brothers a lot of things. No matter how close they are.
I don't expect her to tell me everything. I don't even expect her to tell me half. But Either she is so oblivious to the strain in our relationship that she doesn't notice the rift between us, or it is another feeling that she has filed away so that she doesn't have to.
Or perhaps there's no rift at all, and you're the one placing it there. Perhaps she feels no rift because she still feels the closeness she felt to you when you two were young. How close were you back then? Think on that. Think on how close you were back then and compare it to now. There's going to be some level of a rift now that you're both adults. But perhaps the rift that you're sensing is of your own making.
This is the first time that you've ever seen this, but he will slam his trident into the ground very angrily and looks like he's about to say something, but then storms off into his tent.
Lopez is going to shake his head and go over to where Temperance is. And he crafts some lily of the valley and just kind of lays it down near her. Speak of your own mind and time. Speak of your own feelings when you feel them. If you wish to go to someone, I'm a better listener than I am a talker. Also, those are poisonous. Don't let them near your pet. And he's going to exit.
I think shortly after that is when she'd take the image over to Tenacity and then go back to bed.
I have
I need.
two questions before. First,
Okay.
I do not care. I just need to know: did Arletto hear any of that conversation between Tenacity and Volpez?
How asleep were you?
I believe that was after Tenacity woke him up. So
Yeah, it was. It was after he woke him up.
Oh, tonight. Yeah. So,
Arletto was
well,
not.
you said tonight's info.
Ar-
Um.
Arletto was not trying to listen in, but he also did not leave. So that is entirely up to you guys on
How?
how loud it was.
Yeah. That's up to you two.
I don't mind if he heard things.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'll have to note that down. And I would like to take our break before we do Volpez and Arletto's watch. I have to do a couple things inside, and it's already 10:10. So
All right. Yeah. No. So let's
Sounds
go
good.
ahead and take our break now. A little earlier than usual, but that is perfectly fine. We will see you guys back in about 15. because we know how we are.
All right, we are back.
All right, welcome back. Before the break, we left off right before, right at the beginning of Volpez and Arleto's watch. So I need a D12 from one of you two.
I vote him.
Sure. Right.
Voluntold. You said 3?
Yep.
Please do not have fucked us.
So what are you guys doing?
Sitting.
Are you in your tree or on the ground?
I am in my tree. Because high vantage point.
Arletto had stayed where he was for a bit while Volpez and Tenacity had their conversation. He listened to it, but he wasn't going to comment. It's not his place to remark on that, not with the fact that he has a literal physical manifestation of his own unresolved trauma sitting on his arm. But he, after Tenacity had gone to his tent, and after probably Tempe had come out and then disappeared back into her tent, he would walk over to Volpez and find a tree to climb up into close by, but not in the same tree, giving him space still. And I don't know if Volpez would pick up on this, but I'm not going to have you do a roll. It's just if you think he would. Arletto very, very clearly seems nervous, and some part of him seems to be concerned that... How do I phrase this? Some part of Arletto seems to be concerned that Volpez will not like what he has to say and may react very negatively to it.
Quick question though. Where's the coconut?
I don't know. Tenacity, where's the coconut?
I literally, the way that I pictured it in my head was that Tenacity got pelted. It fell to the ground and he moved on. He didn't pick it up. He didn't interact with it. So it's still on the floor where he was standing.
Okay, so now there's just a random coconut. Well, someone wants it. There's breakfast.
Volpez, we've been traveling for a bit now. A few days ago, I don't know how long anymore. Time's hard to keep track of right now. We were in the Feywild, and you had something stolen from you by fairies. Do you remember?
He nods.
Do you remember anything after the beast took over in that moment?
He nods.
And do you remember what the devil said at the end, right before you regained control? What he said to me?
did I say?
I believe that Tenacity came over and told you that the devil recognized her, let alone called him a name, but Tenacity didn't remember the exact name. I believe is
Yeah,
what happened.
I'm trying to find my notes on it
Fair enough.
Um,
to remind myself what he said. Tempe,
I remember the
do you
This is
general.
a
remember what I
case.
said?
I remember the
This
gist
is a
of it.
case the player doesn't remember.
The general gist of it was, I don't remember if he. No, right. The general gist of it was him looking at Arletto and saying, "It's been a long time, Hell Wanderer."
Ah,
And I believe that was it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Volpes will sigh. If you'd stop beating around the bush and just say what you want to say, this entire conversation would go a lot quicker.
I suppose it would. Devil, you have. The one who took control back there in the Feywild. The one who I believe you. I don't know if gave into is the right word, but the one who you used in the Void to fight the Raven Queen. I know him. I worked for him for a very, very long time. Not necessarily willingly, but I was what you might call his warlock for almost all of my life. And I'm actually going to check my own notes real quick because I need to remember how many years that actually was. I don't.
As you guys are talking, you look around and you see on the edges. Oops, wrong one. On the edges of this clearing, there are bioluminescent fungi that are pulsing strangely. And then they're casting what looks like moving shadows that mm, appear to be hostile, but you can't quite tell.
Erletto glances down and sees the fungi and looks at them, frowning, and reaches under the cuff of his sleeve and fingers the dagger that's stored there and decides he's not going to do anything quite yet, but he's going to keep an eye on them, and if they move closer to anyone, he'll address the issue.
I don't know what you're hoping to gain by telling me any of this.
I want to ask, do you know anything about him? Anything at all? I know some, but very little, compared to what I should know.
I know that when I first saw him, he looked like a tiefling. I know that he chased me through rain and mud. He implanted himself into my mind and tried to burn away my soul with a fever, where only the Raven Queen sending a flower from her realm was able to keep me alive through my mother's prayers. That is what I know. He pauses for a moment, thinks about it. It's, you know what? I trust him enough. I also know that the second devil does not like him.
You have two devils in your mind. One, this shared devil, and another who does not like him and tries to fight him.
Essentially, I don't know anything about the second one. All I know is that he's the one that told me to run from the first one. And that he essentially helps me hold that one back. And he really doesn't like him. Let me tell you, I had to learn to tune out the arguing going on in the back of my head, and that was not easy. I learned foul language at a very young age because of those two.
I can understand that. I know less than I should, less than I would like to. I know some things. I know that when I was a child, not even really old enough to go out on my own, but made to by necessity and a lack of direction, I came across a sword in a clearing. A beautiful black blade, held by a rusted suit of armor. The blade was unmarred by any scratches or rust or markings of any form, although the armor was rusted and decayed almost beyond use. Inside the armor there was only a black void. I could not say if there was a person in it or not. But the sword, I did not realize at the time that it was an actual voice. I thought it was just my own thoughts, intrusive thoughts. The sword whispered to me about how beautiful it was, how perfect a blade it would be, how its edge would hold no matter how many people it cut. And so I knelt, and I tried to claim the blade, only for the armor to fight back. I nearly died that day. Closest I have come since. But I triumphed, somehow. Through luck or through skill, I cannot say. I claimed that sword. That was when I was 33. And until last year, I held that blade and the voice of that devil inside my mind. It bade me do many things. A few things I could resist. A few things I could not. I never met him in person, only ever heard his voice through the blade. I've come to realize now that, in a way, he deceived me. There were a few times when I lost the blade, one in particular, when I lost the blade, and it was claimed by another. A paladin of goodness and virtue, a knight of an order I know not which. He claimed it, and he went on a blood-mad killing spree. I was imprisoned by the order at that time, and one of the elders saw fit to release me to deal with the threat of their own making. And deal with it I did. I slew the other, the paladin who wielded it with such ferocity, and I claimed it back. And they all let me go and promised never to interfere again because, well, none of them could stop the paladin. Not with the power that blade gave him, not with the strength he already possessed. I thought from then on that I was the master of the blade, that I was the only one who could keep it without submitting to its will. I did not realize until recently that in doing so, I did exactly what he wanted. I was the perfect puppet, not because he could control my every action directly and through force, but because he could direct me to do without and make me think it was my own idea, my own purpose. Only a few times did I see through that disguise, but each time I thought it was a one-off thing, a single instance that would not be repeated, and it was only repeated thrice. Only thrice did that blade take full control. And my master had died on the field of battle, where I was at the blade's behest. I was in the fight and I was winning, and then I got stabbed from behind through the heart with a poison blade, and I fell in a moment. I know not now where that blade resides, and I know not if it has any power over me still. But I know now that the devil Gargoth, who is in your mind, and who was my keeper, if you will, for 178 years, knows I'm still alive. And I don't know what that means.
Bob Hayes thinks for a moment. We're not glossing over the fact that you just said you died. We're going to go back to that. That's not the original body.
He just shakes his head no.
Well, I knew we were all a bunch of odd ducks. I thought you were actually somewhat the normal one. Way to prove me wrong.
So sorry to disappoint you.
If anything, it just makes you fit in more with this mess. Seems we all have our ghosts that haunt us. Our own little secrets that we slowly begin to share with one another as time goes on. I think this is the first time I've actually started to trust people again. It's been 80 years since I trusted anyone that would be considered mortal. The last time I trusted someone that was mortal, it cost me my eye. part of my face. I left that place, and if I ever go back, I'll probably burn it. I seem to be the type to hold grudges. I found myself at a castle, high in the northern mountains. It was always dark and cold. Not the whole always winter, never Christmas thing, but though it certainly felt like it was always winter. And there, I met my warlock patron, an elder vampire. They took me in, gave me a good home. It seemed to be that an immortal being, for the second time in my life, was the only one I could count on. And yet they too sent me back to the world of men. And now I am stuck traveling in the middle of a plane that no one has truly explored before, with two tieflings, one of whom is probably dumber than that coconut, and wields a trident that should not be seen by man or child. His sister is the personification of pink rainbows, butterflies, and also I will gut you incarnate. A man who seems to talk to himself, but is talking to a shadow of himself. And now an elf who is not an elf, but was once something else, and shares a devil of the past with me.
And that you are mistaken. I was always an elf, just not this elf.
So you were a different kind of elf before, and now you're this kind of elf.
Yes.
Ugh. And people wonder why I don't talk. You end up in conversations like this. Either way, I don't know much of anything about Gargoth. I don't even know the name of the second devil. There is nothing that I can give you. No information or key detail of anything.
I did not necessarily want something from you. It would have been nice to get information I did not have, but it was not my goal. I tried to gather all the information I could think of. I can tell you my life story, but it would be far, far too long for any kind of conversation now.
And yet I have a feeling that that devil thing is not your only question for me.
I'm trying to remember the list I'd had, because I had a list of like 6 things, but I don't remember it now.
Maybe next time write it down.
I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. Or if I did,
All I'm picturing now is like Arletto just pulling out a scroll like, hang on, let me check.
Hold on, let me check my notes.
Let me check. I did have some questions for you. Let me find them.
If I did write them down, I wrote them down on my old phone before it broke, and I don't have that anymore. So that is unfortunate. But that said, okay, that's what. Devil may not be the only question, but it has been the most pressing for some time since that incident in the Feywild. I tried to remember everything I could. I feel like I should know more, but even he did not tell me his name. Some fiend in the hells told me his name during my time there. He called me his lackey, but I know not. I know nothing about him. For the longest time I thought he was some minor devil entirely entrapped in a sword, and that blade. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that cannot be true. Whatever he is, whatever he wants, he is something more than what I ever thought he could be. And I felt the need for you to know that I am connected, whether I like it or not, to him and to the shadows, and to at least that shadow in your past, so that if and when something comes of it, you're not surprised. Because I cannot imagine that he will not try to interfere with our little group somehow, some way, some why. That does not seem like the type. That seems like the type of thing he would do. Get involved where he's not wanted.
I know he's certainly not wanted in my head. Had I a way to remove him, I would. But he is trapped within me. And whatever that other one is, I occasionally sense things from them. Anger, sorrow, and occasionally from the one that you speak of, guilt. But I don't know why.
Guilt.
The hatred that the other one holds for him. It is a burning hate. Almost as though he did something unforgivable. I'll sometimes hear their conversations in my dreams. The only sentence I can ever remember is when the other one yells at him and says, "You took everything from me. I will not let you take him too." And to this day, I don't know what it means. Or what their connection is to me.
Did you ever hear the other one before you met that tiefling in the forest?
I felt his presence a couple of times. Almost like he was checking in on me. Sometimes I would hear him in the night. When I would have a nightmare and my parents were asleep, the other one would soothe me like a parent would. He's an odd one. He is definitely a devil. But something about him is kind.
Some time ago, I might have thought I knew what that felt like. Oh, the Gargoth, the devil in me. He tricked me into believing he was kind. But now I have no frame of reference. I know not how a devil could be kind. How. Why one might be.
I do not know what they want from me. I do not know what they seek from me. All I know is that ever since they showed up in my life, everything went downhill from there. Like a snowball down a mountain causing an avalanche. And ever since then, memories of kindness, of joy, are far and few between. That one, and he nods his head towards Temperance, has led to the first smile I've had in years. And now I feel things I am unfamiliar with. A fluttering in my stomach whenever she looks at me. A warmth of my cheeks when she compliments me. A strange need to be close to her. I don't understand it. She's just some bubbly girl that I met. And yet, she has started to mean everything to me. And I don't know why. And I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Arletto, sitting on the tree across from Volpez, reaches under the cuff of his sleeve and pulls out the dagger, now very visibly cracked, with purple light gleaming from beneath the blade, and he puts it on his lap. And he looks over at Volpez and says quietly, "What you do with it? You protect them. Protect them. My biggest regret in all my life was not picking up that blade. Was not signing whatever devil's deal I made when I killed that piece of armor. My biggest regret is not being able to save. Not being able to save the first person I could truly maybe say I loved. The first person in my life who made me feel like I was wanted.
Lopez kind of stops and he's processing your words. And then you say that one word and he kind of stops and it's like a record scratch sound in his head. As he just kind of tilts his head, furrowing his eyebrows, and then looks at you. Love? What do you mean, love? And it slowly dawns upon you. This might be this boy's first crush!
Arletto raises the dagger and slowly spins it and says, "It was a foreign concept to me, too, when I first met this girl." Holding the dagger and shining the light on his hand. "And you will come to understand in time. Do not make the same mistakes I did and lose them before you do."
I think I first need to process the fact that you're saying what I'm feeling is love. As old as I am, this is entirely new territory. I have never felt any form of attraction of any kind like this to anyone.
Love and care and attraction, I suppose, and all the things that make you love creeps up on us when we don't expect it, especially people like you and I, or people who fight and who suffer and who very rarely see peace. It takes us by surprise. It takes some time. Think on it.
He kind of pauses. And he has the most kicked puppy look you've ever seen on this man's face. Of, do you think she likes me back?
If I may interrupt,
Yeah.
every time you say love, Moth, my brain goes to Legally Blonde the musical. The song "Chip on My Shoulder," just L love. I put my faith in love. I followed where it led to my personal circle of hell. Every time, because you say it with the same inflections she sings it.
I also wish to say, hey, you two, the teacher sees you passing notes to one another.
I already
I'll
called him on it.
tell you what the note is.
Already called him on it.
It's giving Arletto is that high school senior and Bomas is the freshman.
Age-wise, that's not wrong.
No.
Technically, Arletto is older. And he's not having to deal with a freshman having his first ever crush. Because I want to point this out to you. Temperance. This boy has never been with anybody.
Cool.
Absolutely nothing. He hasn't even had his first kiss.
Oh boy. Yep. High school freshman is definitely fitting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This poor boy is having to process things he has never experienced before, and he is 181. And this is new territory. We're in uncharted waters here, people. Hence the kicked puppy of how do you tell when a girl likes you back?
I can guess, maybe, what that face is supposed to represent. I'm not good at this, but I can guess. I think, and I may be wrong, but I think she does not necessarily know that you care for her like that, to know whether she or not she can love you back.
Well, I'm certainly not going to tell her. At least not yet. I need to figure this out first.
That is fair. But if I could give you,
I don't think
Yep.
she's even ready for something like that. With all she's got going on. I don't know. I've never done something like this before. How does one even tell someone they love them?
If I could be perfectly frank with you, I haven't got the faintest bloody clue. The first person I loved, the first person I had the crush on, it died before I could even understand what it was I felt. I did not understand for many, many years longer. But since then, I have only had relations with 2 women in my life since then. One of whom came on to me quite strongly, and the other, there was no confession of love, there was no confession of feelings, there was simply a mutual agreement that this felt right. I cannot tell you what would have happened had. Actually, I need to make a history check. Sorry. Just barely. I cannot tell you what would have happened had those relationships continued, but they were both cut short.
At least you've had relations. I don't think I've even kissed a girl yet.
I wish I could help you, Lopez. I can help you say what I think you are feeling, but I can tell you the expressions I see on your face and her face at times, but I'm not I'm not a very social person. I have little understanding of how people work, so I did not get involved with you in Tenacity's discussion earlier in the clearing.
Well, it's not like I don't know anything. I just didn't know that this was what it felt like. I know what love is. I know what goes on with those sorts of things, and I know far too much information on other parts of it, thanks to a particular tiefling pirate woman. Far too much. She convinced me to do particular things that I did not know why she was telling me to do them. And no, not like that. It, there was a piercing shop. She said when I eventually got with a girl, it'd be good. So I did. And she just gave me far too much information on things.
You've had a lot of strange tieflings in your life, haven't you?
Too many. Why is it always the tieflings?
I mean, I suppose being born out of some form of devilry or something, they might have a tendency to be odder, but I don't know.
And why is it always the pink ones that are the most trouble? Explain that to me. I'm starting to associate pink female tieflings with trouble.
I mean, if you're 2 for 2, that's pretty good basis to go off of. I'll have to think about it and see if I've encountered any that would support that theory.
It really is 2 for 2. The difference being, well, Temperance's horns are almost that pink, and she herself is just a pink aura. The other one actually was pink. Except for her hair. Her hair was black. Still told me too many things.
That's fair. I don't know what you want to do with that information now that you have it. That, you know, interactions with Temperance or the Shed Devil. But I wanted you to know, at the very least. And I wanted to make sure that you would not be caught off guard.
I feel as though dealing with our shared devil is going to be a lot easier than dealing with my feelings for Temperance. I also feel as though I would rather deal with our shared devil than my feelings for Temperance.
I can't say I blame you. When we next get into something resembling civilization, wherever, did our DM just drop from the call?
I don't know what happened, but he went poof.
He is poofed.
Full poof.
Should we go on break or just continue?
I would say break.
Alright, going to break. We are back live again.
Hello, everybody. My device decided to check out. So I missed the last, 45 seconds at least. What did I miss? Besides the end of the conversation.
I'm trying.
Volpe's essentially learning that he was in love with Temperance, and gist of it is, now that he realizes it, he's gonna process it, not tell her anything for right now, and he would much rather deal with the shared devil between he and Arletto than tell Temperance his feelings.
Well, damn. Okay, then.
It's like, I feel like that's gonna be an easier thing to do than that. Also, apparently, he has now had problems with 2 different pink tieflings being nothing but trouble.
Volpes and tieflings. It makes sense with the
Volpes and
devil blood.
tieflings!
Makes sense with the devil inside.
It do.
I believe that Arletto had just been about to say that he agrees with Lopez on the dealing with the devil may very well be
Yeah.
easier.
And preferable.
Next time we're back in civilization, back in somewhere that has a goddamn book in it, I will try and see if I can find any information on the devil. I've never gone looking before. There was never any need. But I will see if I can find anything. Or if I can find any hint of where my old sword may have ended up. For last I knew, it was on a field of battle underneath my own rotting corpse. Well, it hadn't started rotting by the time I got reincarnated, but I know not what the outcome of that battle was, nor if the battlefield was ever picked clean, and if so, I have no way of knowing where that sword may have gone. And what chaos it may be wreaking wherever it did go.
It does feel like it would be rather important to locate that sword, given what you've said.
I can tell you a little bit about the sword. I was a skilled boy, but I was still a boy, a child, when I claimed the sword. I'd been training for many years at that point. Been training 19 consecutive years with a single master of the blade, but when I claimed the sword, it gave me unnatural strength and skill with it. To a point where I believe that if some other already more skilled, stronger, faster warrior were to claim it, they would become virtually unstoppable if they succumbed to its wiles. I suspect that most people who are that much stronger or faster are probably a fair bit wiser than I was as a child, but I do not like not knowing where it is, even if I don't want to come into contact with it for fear of what it may do to me. When I died, my contract with the devil was broken. I no longer am bound by the rules that he gave me. But he still held claim to my soul. It is why I was reincarnated as I was. Both he and the Raven Queen pulled on my soul over that battlefield, trying to pull me to wherever it is that they would, trying to claim me.
that mention Volpe's being definitely smarter than that coconut.
Tenacity out here catching strays.
Pauses. You said before that you were not always this kind of elf, but a different kind of elf, and now you've made mention of the Raven Queen having a claim over your soul. Were you a Shadar Kai?
Indeed, I was. I was a Shadarkai born on the prime material due to Shadarkai parents, but it's why I came to the Shadowfell, actually. I had never been to the Shadowfell, only heard stories of it from my father, who had only heard stories of it from his father. I'd been all around the material plane in the service of Gargoth, in all environments imaginable, doing all kinds of work, but I'd never really stepped foot outside the plane except for my expedition into the Hells.
Fair enough.
So, Volpez, towards the end of this conversation, every, it's getting to be the point where everyone's going to start waking up. You hear rustling over in Temperance and Tenacity's tents. Areas, I should say. And you're looking around, and you alone feel the world tremble. And, like, you don't know this, but the world trembles in two places at once. Volpez, you find yourself standing alone on a jagged ridge. The wind tears at your cloak, carrying the metallic tang of ozone and the scent of smoldering stone. Shadows writhe unnaturally around you, as if the air recoils from something waiting in the dark. A hissed voice slips through the storm, intimate and alien. Volpez, it is time. You have waited long enough. Come to me. The shadows deepen into the vague, predatory shape of Zahir. His eyes burn like liquid night. Beneath your boots, the ridge quakes, fissures spreading in rhythm with a hidden heartbeat that calls you forward. At the same moment, in another reality, the marble towers of Thul Elistar glint in the light of Eliodar's triplet suns. Alton walks the familiar cobbled streets, weighed down by curiosity and the quiet pull of unfinished work. Then the air shifts, unnaturally thick, almost alive. From the twisting alleys, the god Gwyer emerges. His form radiates the authority of divinity, yet every detail has been twisted. His robes, once pristine white and golds, are now shredded, streaked with ash and dark crimson, edges jagged like broken art. Where once his armor bore intricate symbols of creation and beauty, it is now marked with scars of vandalism, gouges, burns, and defaced sigils. But threaded through it all is a subtle shimmer of warm light, a heartbeat of love that remains unbroken. His eyes gleam with a mix of serene tenderness and sharp, almost cruel clarity. A god of love forcibly recast in vengeance, destruction, and ruin. but still tethered to the purity of his care. Every movement carries the tension of duality, beauty undone, yet affection intact, art destroyed, yet love preserved. He looks at Alton and says, Alton Thorngage, your presence here is no longer enough. You will be pulled from this reality to assist a party. A party that stands against a corruption that gnaws even at your own home. Reality flickers, the familiar streets shimmer, revealing a creeping rot twisting through the foundations of Eliodar, threatening the roots of everything Alton has known. Dwyer steps closer. Voice, a thread between worlds. You will uncover the source. You will learn what festers in the places you call safe. And you will decide how far you are willing to go to stop it. The calls, the one of shadow, the one of light, intersect in unseen rhythm. One summons a warrior into darkness. The other draws a druid away from home, both pulling their targets toward destinies entwined with corruption, power, and choices that will echo across realities. Volpez feels the shadow stretch its fingers into his mind. Alton feels the pull of Eliodar's veil lifting, a force tugging at his very essence. In that heartbeat, worlds align, and the edges of fate shimmer like fractured glass. The storm, the city, the shadow, the rot. Two calls, one promise. What comes next cannot be ignored. And Volpez, for a split second, you look over just to the left of where you see Zahir, and you swear you can see this little halfling that you can't quite remember, but you swear you've met. Then the illusion breaks. And that is where we're going to end the session.
Fuck.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Well, shit.
So obviously tonight was a very RP heavy night. Conversations that have been that have been trying to happen for what 14 sessions now,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
if
quite a
not a
while.
little less,
It's been a
finally
while.
started to happen. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a
Yep.
while.
But you guys stay safe, stay warm. Happy New Year. Even though it is the 4th of January already, Happy New Year. And we will, knock on wood, see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.